What's up, YouTube world? It's your boy J Dub, the #1 comment on YouTube, and I'm back with another review. Today, I will be reviewing the season premiere of Ready to Love. This is season 7, episode 1. They're in Miami again, and this episode is called 16 Sexy Singles. Tommy must have named this episode. And before I get into the review, for those who are new to my channel, I do reviews on reality shows. I do a detailed review. I may not hit every single scene, but I try to pick out important details and maybe pull out some details that you may have not seen. And also, as I told y'all, I am YouTube's #1 commenter. So this channel is primarily about the comments. You know, that's the most important to me. Whatever you have to say, we disagree, debate, joke, laugh, there's so much personality and so much funny in these comments, and that's what I ask. But in 2023, I do now ask you to, when you're on your way in, hit that like button so we can push that algorithm so we can get it back out, because it's like now I'm almost talking to myself and the loyal subscribers of the Dub fam, in which that's fine, but the more input we have, the better our channel gets. So that's why I definitely want you to do that. I don't need the fame, or not that it's just fame or anything like that, but you know, I just want it to get out to as many people as possible. So this is definitely going to be more so of a reaction review. I'll go over my predictions, my personal opinion, and then I ask that you get down in the comments and say what you say. That's the motto of the channel. So let's go ahead and get into this. This is the first episode of this new season. They did Miami previously, and it's almost like Ready to Love knows they don't do the shows right, so they almost have to have a duplicate season of the same location. They did the same way with DC. They might have named it Potomac, but it seemed like we was in DC almost 3 times. If you ask me, I could be wrong. But anyway, I don't know if they had a casting special last week. I'm not sure, but I guess my complaint was from last season was like, to me, if you just throw these people right in front of our faces, we don't have any connection with them. Granted, I don't want to go into, so deep in their lives, but we kind of want to brush it over instead of them just talking it through conversations to get to know them, because it's like you're just throwing a bunch of strangers right in front of us and expecting us to know who they are. So, your boy J Dub struggles with, let's say, the tech of it all. He's not tech savvy as he needs to be. So I'll be describing these characters, and you can look them up, or I'm sure you've saw in other reviews, but I'm going to try to be descriptive so you can kind of grab onto who I'm talking about. So, looking at this cast, the cast to me is very Miami. And when I say very Miami, it's just like a look of it. Everybody's flamboyant. They're showing a lot of skin. They got the shirts open. They got the BBLs on deck. Some may be natural, some maybe not. But, the bodies are banging. And I got to say, especially for the women, they did an excellent job on, let's say, at face value of picking the women. They really did a top tier job with these women. The men, I guess they did okay or whatever, but the women really outshine these men. I don't know how many of these women gonna really want these men, but sometimes people ain't there for love. So I get to complain about the format of it. I think this is another show that needs a refresh. They do the same setup. They pick people up at the end of the driveway and drive them with the same car. They didn't really put a budget in the car game. They got the cheapest Land Rover SUV they would. Why? And people would say, J-Dub, why you worried about that? Because I'm a car guy, so that matters to me. But then they had a Suburban too. And as they just bringing people in and out or what have you, the first person we see a guy named Andre. Andre reminds me of that baseball player they used to call Big Papi, out of Boston. A lot of people aren't into sports, but that's who I kind of, I think he gravitates to. But not necessarily, when I say he looks like somebody, it's like the whole cast has been typecasted. Like somebody every cast member reminds me of somebody. Sometimes I can put my finger on it, sometimes I can't. But I'm sure that's with you, and I'm sure the Dub fan will put that down in the comments, who looks like who, or who reminds them of who. And Andre, again, he's a entrepreneur. He's a grown man with a mohawk. But I guess I can kind of, and he has a little Michael Jackson curl in the beginning. If I can get some hair, I might put a little Michael Jackson curl up front. I mean, just that I'd be so excited to have hair because I've been without so long. But I would say Andre isn't like the typical guy you would see, because he appears, he's never said it, but I can hear by his accent, it sounds like he's from like the UK or whatever, and he comes in with a like a lavender jacket or whatever, like I said, looking very Miami. And right behind him comes, I hope I'm saying this right, Corvea. She's 31. She's a digital strategist. I don't know what that is, but it sounds important and like she's making a lot of money. Corvea is a young lady. She's of mixed heritage. Her mother's Latina, her father is black, and she's a very small, petite woman. Look like she going to the club. Like I said, very Miami. And the next lady we meet is Natasha. Natasha's 37, and she's an attorney. Now, Natasha, she reminds me of a mixture of Stacy, like from Ready to Love, Houston, and Simone, like mixed together all in one person. You know, Stacy from frickin' Frat, and Simone, who is with you know, the guy that's on this episode. I can't remember his name that fast, but him, Rashid. And you know, she seems like on, you know, while looking at it, I really don't, I couldn't get a good vibe of her. She seems like she's open, looks like she's ready to love or what have you. And is what's going to come out on this episode. They're really going to like discount. They're not really going to they're not going to appreciate her. And that's the thing that happens like every time. They always have somebody on here that they don't appreciate that they should. They have people like Fall Guys who they know they're not going to pick. And speaking of knowing they're not going to pick, the next contestant is Dre. Dre's 39. He's a DJ. He's about 5'2". You got a bush, and again, the Fall Guy. Not that there's anything wrong with men that are, you know, challenging height, but most women want a man that's at least taller than them, and you know, that's the thing. And I don't know if it's also a what do you call it, a natural thing where women are gravitated to men who are much taller, and that's because you would hear a woman, he got to be 6 feet, he got to be this, he that, you know. But certainly they don't want a man they looking eye to eye or who they towering over, because I saw Corvalia, she was actually taller than Dre with heels on, so we know he don't got no chance. So the next person we talking about, we got Morgan. Morgan's 38. She's an interior designer, and Morgan is absolutely the star. She got it going on. She got it. I'm surprised all the guys ain't just circling around and waiting in line to speak to her or whatever. But I like her personality. She seems approachable. She seems down to earth, and she's also a spiritual lady. So we're gonna see how that work out, if it's just at face value or she's the real deal. But I think she is. So the next guy we have is Lydon. He's 39. He's a bar manager. He's a Jamaican guy, and I don't know. It's something about him. I don't know if it's that he's not as confident, or he's just lacking something. He seems super laid back, so that'll be easy with him mixing and mingling. But something's missing with him. But I'm sure we'll expose that. The next young lady we got is Marcia. Marcia is a fashion designer, and I really like Marcia's her personality. Like she seems very outgoing, and in these type of situation, that is huge. And I don't know if the guys are really going to like her. It seems like, again, it's something like they would more want a Morgan more than a Marcia, but everybody has their pick, so we're gonna see about her. Now the next young man, but he ain't really young, is Blue. He's 40. Now 40 isn't old, but Blue looks like he's about 51. And Blue is the guy who has green eyes. He's an older gentleman. And I think Blue has, let's say, has he's a niche person in this, where like a younger woman will want a well-established man who can provide and take care of her. And Blue's just that guy. He owns a liquor store. He owns a hookah bar. And I think it would work, but it's just a small niche, because again, this is not Married at First Sight. This is Ready to Love. So you got to build the friendship, build the love, then maybe consider going marriage. We talking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years in some cases, how people go. So when you're really putting older people in here, that kind of takes away from the progression of the relationship, whether you're going to fall in love, get married, have some babies, enjoy the marriage, and all that kind of stuff. So it is a thing. Age is really a thing. So we see the same format. Who's back? Tommy's back. Granddaddy Tommy, corny Tommy, all of that. He back, and he got to do his monologue. You know, he got to ask you, do you miss me or whatever. He got to tell you that in Miami's a place of love and all that, but it's some pee in a dating pool. And, if he don't know if it's the skin is glistening from the salt of the ocean, or you just got out the strip club. I mean, it's corny. It's something, and people love Tommy. I could do without Tommy. We could switch this up. You can be funny, but Tommy wants to be like the star of the show, and he's not there to really contribute. He's just like he's hosting a party. I would want somebody to kind of really help people navigate this thing, even though these are mature people. I want to see somebody help them along, and Tommy just wants you to go deep. He can't tell you how to go deep, but he wants you to go deep in the pool of love. So Tommy got a surprise for us. I don't know, what is it, a barbecue, a yacht across the street, but his surprise is he wants to welcome back Rashid and Simone. Originally, I thought he was going to try to bring somebody back from past season. I'm so glad he didn't. But I think it's probably still going to happen, because instead of 20 contestants, they have 16. So we're going to be losing people kind of fast. And, of course, we're going to eliminate a man and a woman the same day. So, but enough of that. The thing is with Rashid and Simone, my opinion, I'm not a fan of Rashid and Simone. I thought that it was let's call it a second choice, if you will, because Rashid, I don't remember the episode from the resort episode. If that young PYT he had at the resort would have said yes, there would be no Simone. But now he was so connected with Simone. He was so into her. I think Rashid has a likable personality where he could probably get along and conversate with anyone. And I just don't see it. But now on this show, they're supposed to be couple goals, and they're supposed to be the love experts that everybody's talking to. How did y'all get through this? Who picked who? And how did y'all do about this? I'm like, give me a break. But anyway, let's go to some more cast members. We got Tony, 42. He's a tax director. And Tony sounds like he sounds like he's from New York. Now, I wouldn't expect everyone to be Miami born or what have you, because that's how it happens in cities. People move for different reasons. They get a new job, they get a divorce, they running from the law, whatever they doing. They in your city and they ready to love. So it's a thing with what would I say, with New York people. I think about New York. I'm not really a fan of New York. It's not my thing. I don't really like this city. And sometimes some of the people can be very aggressive, whether that's a man or a woman. And that kind of rubs me the wrong way in DC. We are very laid back people. We're like more 0 to 100 kind of people. We're not in your face, but if you get in our face with a lot of stuff, you're probably going to get what you're asking for, whether you thought you was asking for it or not. But New York really doesn't rub me the wrong way. But more so about Tony. He's a preacher's kid, or his mother is actually a pastor, and he kind of connects more with Morgan, because she's saying she really wants a man of God. and it's like it's making sense. And maybe he has like a one leg up, him being a more spiritual person or what have you. So we're gonna see if that connection really kind of pan out or whatever. So the next person is Damon. Damon is an accountant, and he's 37. And again, Damon is one of those people. I'm like, who does he look like? He's so familiar. I could not, like, it was like wrecking my brain. Like, it was like wrecking my brain. Who does this guy look like? Who does he remind me of? And I finally got it. I was thinking like, I know I seen him somewhere before, because I see what I got, like he got these like big glassy eyes, and the way, where his teeth are. I said, I know what he like. I remember my daughter used to have a favorite toy, a Furby. And that's Damon right there. See, look at those eyes. He remind me of Damon. And when I saw that, I said, yeah, he looked like a Furby. That's what people might not know what that is, but look it up. That used to be a toy back in the day that went wild, and it blinked real slow, and it kind of talked real slow. And that's kind of his personality. Tony's he's a Furby, but he also had I said not Tony, I meant DeMario is a Furby, but I think, let's say I think the ladies will gravitate towards him. He seems like a cool dude too. That personality is everything, and depending on who you talking to, I guess what shines through could really hook a woman, because DeMario actually had he had what's the girl name? I was about to call her something else. Corvalia. She was talking about like, oh, do you go to therapy? And he was like, yeah, I'm into therapy or whatever. She's like, ooh, we likes that. And that's the thing. A lot of women kind of gravitate toward therapy, but going to therapy and actually doing the work is two different things. So just because a man say, hey, I'm in therapy, he might have went once. He might have had an incident at his job and was required to go. Who knows? But like, it really shows up in how you live your life. But, Carvalho likes that he went to therapy before. It's almost like a pickup line, and he knew he had her when she said that, because it was like very leading. It's like, oh, do you like pizza? And then be like, yeah, I like pizza. Yeah, you're gonna be agreeable because you want the people to like you or not throw you off or whatever. So I don't know if they're going about it the right way. So Carvalho and Lyndon, the Jamaican guy who's a bar manager, have a really negative interaction when Carvalho brought out that one of her pet peeves or non-negotiables is a guy to be independent, and stating that at this point we're too grown to be like sharing space with people, and if my husband doesn't have, or a guy doesn't have his own place, then he can't, I can't be in his space like that. And she just started asking the guys who were sitting in front of her, do you have a place? She asked DeMario, hey, do you got your own place? DeMario like, yeah, I got my own place. That ain't no problem. And then she asked Linda, he like, I actually don't have my own place, and that became a thing. Lyndon got kind of defensive with it. He was, I guess he felt insecure because her pet peeve or her non-negotiable was that like, hey, you need to have your own place. It's so Miami, everybody got to live together because they broke, and I'm sure it's expensive to live in Miami. And it just could have really been settled. Linda could have took it as like, well, okay, well, I'm not the guy for you. I got my own place. But he started making excuses like, well, my landlord threw me out 30 days before I was supposed to leave, so I had to find a place. And, I'm working so much. Who can find a job? Like, sir, you work at a bar. You got days off. The bar ain't open all day, 24 hours a day. You can find a place. Just say, hey, okay, I'm not the man for you, or I'm working on getting my own place, and whoever, if it ain't me, then it's somebody else. But then also Carvalho kind of was throwing up shots. So she was like, well, what am I supposed to do? Settle for less than what I have? And that's where he started really to feel judged and everything. And she like, yeah, get it together. The way she was saying it came off kind of ugly. But it's okay for her to say, hey, I want my man to have her own place. You know, they like 40. Okay. We just leave it at that. So now, you know, I say they always have that typecast people. The guy, Blake, who's 44, that's going to be the villain. That's the guy who I don't like to see on my screen. He irritates me. You know, he's like, he comes off like super arrogant, like, and also he's also closed off, and he comes off judgmental as well. Now, this guy has, he has what, three boys, and they're pretty much grown, what, 22, 19. I think the other one is 9 or whatever. So he's got a young son, and the way he goes about things, he almost has a my way or the highway, and he's also like trying to convince these 30-year-old women like having children is a bad thing. Like, it's okay if you don't want them, go the other way. But he also is telling people different stories. Like, yeah, the way he'll say things like, well, I got all my boxes checked, and saying that like, hey, I don't want any more kids. But, you know, he'll tell somebody else different. Now, who else we run across? We run across Jeffrey. Jeffrey's not a man. She's a woman. She's 32. She's an executive assistant. She has those, like, what we call those bedroom eyes. Like, she look like she's trying to seduce you or whatever. And like, she seems like a really nice lady. She says she's super spiritual, but, you know, she's got 3 children, and who they don't have a father figure in their life. So I'm thinking, like, you know, what was the story? Were you married? I'm not judging. I'm just trying to figure this out. This super spiritual lady got 3 different kids with no father, and it's more to the story. That's what I'm gonna say. Before we go too deep, it's more to the story. So at this point, it's elimination time. After Tommy has been talking with the men and women separately, they need to find out who's like at the bottom, who's at the top. So they got to pick the bottom 2 for men, and the bottom 2 is of course Dre, the little short guy, and then the other person is the villain, Blake. And Tommy pretty much tell Blake, you know, you got to step it up and show these ladies who you are. So he say bye to Dre. You know, Dre 5'2.5" or whatever. So yeah, he's gonna be gone. That was a setup. He was the fall guy. Dre never had a chance where he spit bars while he rapping or whatever. No lady is going to take him seriously. I mean, that's unfairly. That's just what it is, and that's what it was. So Dre's out. And so as far as the 2 ladies, the bottom 2 ladies, one was Natasha, the lawyer who I said it looked like Simone and Stacy combined, and the lady who I didn't really mention too much, but I saw maybe one time with DeMario was Zay. And I was really surprised that Natasha was on there, because Natasha's very attractive. She's a professional. She seems outgoing, and she seemed like a good candidate, but she's in the bottom as well as Zay. Zay is kind of playful. Like, she'll ask you about how do you feel about sex before marriage, and then she'll say, oh, I'm a virgin. Oh, no, I'm not a virgin. You know, that kind of stuff. Like, real immature. That's the word I'm looking for. Immature. So the men have decided, or Tommy has decided, from the men's opinion, that Natasha's out. And she was shocked, and so was I. I think they really missed out on Natasha. They didn't really give her a chance, and I think she has more to offer to Zay, from my opinion. So pretty much that was it with the whole cast members or whatever. Oh, but I forgot. I blacked out and forgot a very important part. They actually, before Simone and Rashid left, he got down on one knee and proposed to Simone, and she got down on 2 knees and collapsed because she was so surprised. Oh. I didn't need to see that. I'm not for that black love thing, what they got going on, because it don't seem genuine with them to me, in my opinion. So drop down in the comments. Tell me what you think about Simone and Rashid's engagements, their presence, the cast members, Tommy, the show. Just get down in the comments and tell me, because that's what I'm here for. And as I always tell y'all could be anywhere in this YouTube world, but you're here with me. I really appreciate it, and I really mean it.